Anthrax.
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 Anthrax. Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax. Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax. Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax. Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax.
Anthrax bacterium.
Anthrax bacterium.
Anthrax investigation. Anthrax investigation.
Anthrax exposure.
Anthrax exposure.
Anthrax test. Anthrax test. With anthrax scares.
Anthrax scare.
Anthrax spores. Anthrax spores. Anthrax strains. Anthrax strains.
Dr. Cole authored the book, The Anthrax Letters, a medical detective story. He currently holds numerous degrees and is a professor of political science. The book, The Anthrax Letters, seeks to give its reader a chronological and thorough analysis of the events of anthrax bioterrorism attack that rocked the nation's postal system back in the fall of 2001. It provides a personal insight into how the events unfolded and how the attacks affected the victims, families, and the nation on a whole. The book starts with an account that depicts the story of the first fatal victim of bioterrorism in America, Robert Stevens. Mr. Stevens was admitted into JFK Hospital in the city of Atlantis on October 2nd, 2001. He presented with symptoms of nausea, weakness, fever, and was delirious, and it was thought to be meningitis. Testing was done by local, state, and the Center for Disease Control that confirmed that his illness was actually anthrax. The anthrax spores were sent by mail to American Media Inc., NBC New York, the New York Post, Senator Tom Daschle of South Dakota, Patrick Lee of Vermont, and other individuals. It eventually made its way through numerous postal distribution centers throughout the country. Initially, authorities suspected that the person responsible would be an external terrorist, but that changed to domestic in light of their investigation into the crime. Mr. Cole goes on to narrate how Barbara Hatch Rosenberg posted on the website of the Federation of American Scientists details of who she believes is responsible for these acts. The investigation eventually led to Stephen Hatfield, an expert on bioterrorism. Along with Mr. Hatfield, the FBI had more suspects. However, at the time of the publication, the question behind who is responsible for the anthrax letters was still unresolved. Mr. Cohen did an excellent job in conveying the information to the reader regarding the events that took place in the fall of 2001 and the fact that the anthrax letters were mailed. It was written with great clarity, detailed research, numerous sources and documentation, and it conveys to the reader that this book is factual and can be substantiated if queried. Mr. Cole used the personal accounts and recollection of the victims' families, doctors, investigators, scientists, and other individuals involved. It draws your attention into the subject matter being discussed and to some extent makes you feel like you are reliving the events as they are being read. Reading the words of the victim of the mail carriers, their families, feelings of hopelessness and disbelief just makes the book feel more personal, brings the humanity of the individuals who contracted anthrax as a result of this senseless act, and is a constant reminder of humans' vulnerability to terrorism of this nature. The book also highlights the vulnerability of the United States to biological terrorism, and that further testing and responding to bioterrorism is essential in diminishing America's risk to this type of terrorism experienced in fall 2001.
You must understand that the human race stands at a critical turning point in terms of biowarfare technology. We are at risk now as